presentation about reading centers on Schoology for the upper elementary grades. My name is Catherine Anderson, and I have taught special education, fourth grade and third grade, and I am here with my colleague.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Valentine, and I have taught first and third grade in the Vale School District.
So we are going to just be showing you the way that we utilize Schoology for reading centers when we taught third grade together, and we hope we can teach you something new. This is a look at the objectives that we are hoping to accomplish through this presentation today. So if you are interested in reading about those, feel free to pause now. Before we get into what the centers look like and how we do them, we just wanted to share with you how this all started. So, just as I'm sure you were affected by COVID, so were we, and we were thrust into this world of having to deliver quality instruction online. So, as we did that, we really heavily relied on Schoology, but we wanted the same structures that we had in our in-person classes. And we wanted something that was able to be differentiated for the variety of students that we had in our classrooms. So we knew that students couldn't rotate because they were at home. And then when they came back, we were very limited on moving them around. So Schoology really provided the platform for us to be able to give them a variety of reading tasks in that traditional centers format.
For our anticipatory set, think about one strength you have with using Schoology instructionally and one area you'd like to grow in with using Schoology instructionally. Our weakness wasn't really using Schoology much other than putting our About Me, school supply list, and sharing photos with families. Now we use it daily in our classrooms for math, reading, writing, science, and social studies. Our main focus will be talking about how to use Schoology in ELA for reading groups, but some other ways to use it in math are task cards, timed math fact quizzes, and practice tests that can all auto-grade. In science and social studies, you can find educational videos and create a follow-up quiz, make things like exit tickets, and again, assignments that auto-grade are our favorite. Don't forget, you don't have to do this alone. We will talk more about how to collaborate with your team to create things together.
Here is a little list of the reading centers that we use. Of course, you should design something that is best suited for your classroom, but these are the centers that we have developed just based on the content that we wanted to cover within the week. We're going to go through each of them and show you how we add assignments for them. Feel free to pause along the way and jot down questions. At the end, you will see our contact information. And if you have any follow-up questions or would like some help, we would be more than happy to help you if you want to reach out to us.
Here is a sample Google Slides spelling activity you can use with your class if you'd like. You can click on the Click Here button and it'll make a copy of the assignment for you. You can, of course, make changes to this assignment to fit your class's needs. Once you have saved this assignment, it will be in your Google Drive. To add this assignment on your Schoology page, you will click Add Materials, Add Assignment. You will name your assignment, click the Google Drive button, and click on the assignment you want to add, and hit Create. This creates a copy for each student individually.
If you would prefer for students to use a paper and pencil for their spelling center, this is something that I have used in my class. I post the same spelling menu every single week and taught my students the procedure of where to go to get the paper. I also post a page within the spelling center that lists all of the spelling words for the week so they can just look right off of their computer. This also gives students a wide variety of choices. So my expectation in my classroom is to pick 4 choices off of this board, and they don't have to be in a tic-tac-toe pattern or anything like that, just any 4 activities that they feel like doing that week. And then they know the procedure of where to turn that in when they're done. So this is a kind of hybrid option for the Spelling Center if you like that.
Now, this is my favorite part, spelling tests. On these next couple slides, I will talk about how to create a spelling test for your class. This is something I did weekly for my third grade team, and again, it grades itself. First, you will go to Add Materials, Add Assessment, name your assessment. You can enable it ahead of time or enable assessment when you are ready to have your students take it, and then hit Create. Now, this next part you will repeat over and over again for all of your words, so while it seems like it is time consuming, it actually becomes pretty easy to create these tests. The type of assignment you want to select is fill in the blank text. Then to create a blank, you will need to type an underscore in the box. To record the word and sentence, you will hit that music button. And make sure you type the word exactly how you want your students to type the word in their answer box. This is a closer look of what the recording pages look like. So I just wanted to show you some screenshots of what that will look like there. And then if you have a student who would do better taking it on paper, that's great. They can still take the spelling test on paper and hit the play button as many times as they need to hear each word. When I record for spelling tests, I say the word, I give a sentence, and I repeat the word one more time. So this is really great for students to be able to hear it more than once, as many times as they need.
Another center that we introduced since ASA introduced the fluency portion of the state test for third graders is a fluency center. So there is an option on Schoology in the assessments to have students record their own voice. So we have this going on every week so the students can practice reading in an environment where other students might also be reading, just so they become more comfortable with what that is going to feel like when they sit in the testing room. Additionally, this helps us front load to them to read the passage in their mind a few times before they click the record button so that they can feel confident and do their very best reading. Here are some screenshots of what you would see in Schoology as you create this. Later on, I'm going to discuss how to put a PDF into an assignment. That's typically what we have had our students read off of. But just like the spelling, you would add assessment, you would name it. Typically, ours is called Fluency Center. And then you would click on the audio button and drag in that PDF, which again, I will discuss toward the end of the presentation. And typically we have this as a standalone assignment, and then we create a second assignment in the Fluency Center folder that is comprehension questions to hold students accountable for having read the passage. So not only is this giving us a good data point for how they are reading, but it's also giving us a quick comprehension check that's not necessarily aligned to the standard that we're focused on, but is more just a general comprehension quiz. Additionally, when you go into the fluency assignment as you're grading it, you can download the recordings that students have made. And this really is awesome for sending to families to hear their student reading, using at conferences, or using in any other meetings. For example, maybe an IEP meeting or a 504 meeting to just kind of give the team a look at how that student is doing with their reading.
If you don't already have an Educator Epic account, you can create a free account and add each student's first name and last initial. With this account, you can assign books in advance to your students for the next week. I like finding books with a quiz at the end for students to take. Epic is a great way to incorporate science and social studies standards too.
In the upper elementary grades, especially with the state test upcoming at the end of every year, it's really important to us that we were engaging our students in the writing process every single week. We used Schoology as the platform on which they would find their resources and type their final copy, just like the state test is set up. We do give them a paper writing process packet so that they have a place to brainstorm and do their rough draft, and they can practice using a pencil for those steps. But again, we like them to go on to Schoology in that writing center and type their final product. Here are some screenshots of how that looks. We on Schoology, again, add that assignment, and there's a short answer essay option. As you can see under the example, there are two links, and as well as the prompt, so students can practice getting on to that assignment, reading the prompt, reading the passages, and then going back to that paper and pencil packet where they are practicing doing their brainstorm and rough draft. This is really good practice to get students in the routine of the process of producing a typed essay, and also gives them an opportunity to practice the technology skills that they'll need to have to be successful on that test.
Our team really likes having a weekly focus skill center. It was a way for us to add in additional practice for the students to try independently. In this sample, you will see discussion posts, a video for students to watch, and some quizzes for students to take. A question we got during our presentation was if there was a way students could not see other students' posts before they posted their answer. Yes, when you are setting up a discussion on your Schoology, at the very bottom there is a person icon to the right of the green button. Click on that and students will not be able to see posts until they have responded to the discussion.
In the previous slide, we discussed the weekly focus skill, and in third grade, prefixes and suffixes are typically the very first ELA standard that we teach. So the first week when we're introducing prefixes and suffixes, the centers that students would engage in the weekly focus would be on prefixes and suffixes. However, the following week, when we set up our centers, we would have a spiral center. So spiral center is introduced in the second week of ever doing centers because you have something to spiral, and that covers the most previously taught ELA standard. Of course, you could modify this and you could put in things that students might need more practice with from previous quarters as the year gets going. In the very first week of centers, you could have students do just general comprehension. You could look back at some of the uh, second grade standards within the strands of third grade reading standards and put some activities on that. The purpose of the Spiral Center is just for that reteach and enrich, and also gives you an opportunity to look and see how those students who might need a second try to show proficiency, how they're doing. So this has very similar things. However, in the weekly focus center, there was only one video. In the spiral center, there are 3 videos because we really wanted to be re-delivering instruction on those topics that were previously covered. So it gives students an opportunity to kind of learn more at their own pace. But you also will see that there are discussion questions here and that assessment to do as well. So this is a really simple way to circle back to things that your students might be missing.
There are a couple different ways our teammates have added PDFs into Schoology because sometimes Schoology likes to give us a hard time. Once you create an assignment, you can click the picture icon and drag and drop your PDF there. This doesn't always work because the file is too big. To trick Schoology, I would zoom out on the PDF to make it smaller and then take a screenshot of it. Then I would drag and drop the screenshot there and it would work. Another way to add a PDF would be to create a document in your drive called copy and paste. Use Command and Shift and 4 to take a screenshot of the reading passage. Drag the reading passage into your copy and paste document. Copy and paste the image from the Google Doc into the text box of the Schoology question.
In addition to copying PDFs, you can also use an interactive system called Kami. Now, both copying in the PDFs and utilizing Kami are great ways to get students to interact with assignments that you might have saved on your computer that you traditionally would have used in paper pencil form. You can upload any PDF into Kami as well, and students can use a variety of tools such as highlighter. They can click on words and have it read to them. They can have the whole passage read to them. There's also text box and a lot of other drawing features that they can use to interact with the document. To upload an assignment using Kami and have students utilize it, You would upload the PDF to um, your drive on your Google Drive through your account. And then on the Schoology page, you would add materials, click add assignment. And just like earlier, where we discussed clicking on the Google Drive option, you would click on the Kami option. This one would pull up a list of files, and you would select the file that you are wanting to utilize for that center and upload it. And when after students interact with it, you just go right back into that folder and click on it. And on the right hand side of your screen, you'll see student names, and you can click on that and see what their document looked like. For students, when they go into that folder for that assignment, then they would click on the folder that it's in, and then there's a little bar on the side of the assignment name, and it has the purple K circle on it. And so they would click on that, which says open assignment with Kami, and then students would interact with that assignment and complete it. It's really important that before introducing this for the first time, you do a Kami assignment whole group with your class and give them time to play with all those tools and practice what I call messing it up and undoing it. This will kind of take away those impulses to do silly things as they are working on Kami, and also just helps them see what all of the tools are that are available that could help them with the passage. As I said earlier, my favorite thing is they can click on a word and hear it read and see a definition of the word as well if it's something that's unfamiliar to them. When students are finished, on the top right of their document, there will be a little floppy disk, and it says turn in. After students click on that, it will push through, and that's when you can go in on your end through your Schoology account, click on the assignment, and see what students have produced.
Early finishers. You will have students working all at their own pace. During centers, some students will finish and wonder what they need to do next. They won't wonder if you have an early finisher folder. Some items we have put in our early finisher folders are Epic, Prodigy, and ABCYA.
You might be wondering, well, how do I manage students completing all of these centers throughout the week? You can do this in a variety of different ways, and we will show you 2 examples on the next few slides. But you can either have students work through in whatever order they desire, or you can assign them what order they work through. For me, it's always just kind of depended on my class makeup and how the group that I have that year works best. So it's possible that every year you might need to change it up. But again, the way that you teach students the procedure of getting through centers is just whatever works best for your classroom ecosystem.
Here's an example of a checklist we have used in our classrooms. I really liked laminating these, putting their name on it with permanent marker, and having students use an expo marker to check off the centers as they complete them. On this paper checklist, you will see a Science and Social Studies Center. We didn't go over how to create things for this center, but in the beginning, I mentioned using brain pop videos, making follow-up quizzes, and even utilizing Epic to assign stories for students to read.
Here is a digital version of keeping students accountable. This one also assigns centers to students to work on rather than allowing them to work in any order they desire. This is what a teammate currently does in on my 3rd grade team. So she sets a 20-minute timer for each center, which helps students to stay accountable to continue working so they can get it done. And you'll see colored dots at the top of each column. This teacher has put different colored dots on desks around her room so students can look up if they are red, for example, and see that on Tuesday they will begin with weekly focus. And after that 20 minutes is up, then they will move to the writing center. You can see that on Wednesday they would be assigned the listening center and then the science and social studies center. And on Thursday they would finish with spiral and fluency. It is common that as students are learning how to complete centers, they don't quite get everything done, it is beneficial to build in a little bit of finishing up time on Fridays if you can, or even Thursdays if the time allows for it. And this, again, holds students accountable for working through what they're doing. And by having students grouped by colored dots, this teacher has worked in a system where they can go in and go around and check with their other group members to ask clarifying questions or ask basic help questions to kids doing the same thing as them.
As we said in the beginning, we would talk about what team collaboration looks like on our team when creating centers. I don't make everything on my own. We are all in charge of creating a center. So, first, if you don't already have a team course, make sure you create one. This is where you will all create what you need for centers week by week. Similarly to working on a Google Doc, you can see what people are creating all in one place. When you are all done creating, you will want to copy that Reading Center folder to your Schoology course. Again, make sure you copy it to your course. If you move it, then no one else will have it to copy to their course. The second image is an example of what the inside of my Reading Centers folder looks like, and the last image is an example of what each weekly Reading Center folder looks like.
As Caitlin mentioned, on the collaborative team course, you can see everything in one place, just like a Google Drive. Additionally, after our team had gone through 2 years of creating centers for every single week, the team course just maintains. It doesn't start over every year. So now on my team, one person's planning responsibility is to look through the already existing centers activities for the upcoming week and read through, make small edits, or exchange things if we feel it's necessary, because all of the centers are now created. So that took out a huge time chunk that we would have spent planning. So this is a really great idea. Additionally, you can have a buddy on your team who you can create as an admin on your own class Schoology page. And then if you are absent or anything, that buddy can throw in some work for you to have students work on. On my team, we have also created emergency sub-plan folders, and those have an entire day's worth of work on Schoology. So if there's ever an unexpected absence, we can have the buddy of that teammate just quickly have an emergency sub-plan day folder thrown into that course, and students can just sit and work through on their Chromebook all day, similarly to how they had to do during COVID, but that substitute would be able to walk around and provide assistance if they need it, and all of the assignments would be on topic. You can also use Nearpods within those emergency plan folders so that students are still receiving instruction on whatever the standards are that they are learning that week.
Closure. How do you think reading centers on Schoology can prepare students for their future and support your workload as a teacher? We really hope you feel more confident with using Schoology in your classrooms, and we hope you will love it as much as we do. It was really neat to get some great feedback from a teacher who said this really helped her use Schoology more, and her team have started using spelling tests, and it has been a game changer for them.
Thank you so much for listening in on our presentation. We really hope this was valuable for you. If you have any follow-up questions or need some support to get started with any of these, please feel free to contact either one of us. Our emails are listed below, and we would be more than happy to help you out and get you started. If you are a teacher in the Vale School District, we would be more than happy to find a time that maybe we can meet together in person and look over your Schoology and help get you going. But everybody, just please feel more than welcome to reach out to us, and we can show you more of what we know. Have a great rest of your day.